The Lord of Ravens will turn the key.
Do you ever go into the mall? Me neither, but if you ever did, you would know of this little cute thing called the Eye of the Jailer that really pisses me off, and probably pisses you off too if you ever decide to venture into the thing called the mall. But has it ever occurred to you to ask, what exactly is the Eye of the Jailer? Look here, look. One eye, two eye. The jailer has two eyes. So where did this eye come from? Oh sure, it could have been a metaphorical eye or something, you know, like a scrying orb. A jailer looks at it, boop, there you are. You do something so he can bomb the out of you. Now if you're a sensible person, you will step away. But if you happen to go to the toilet at this time, well, you're dead.
Mission failed. We'll get them next time.
Anyway, we're off to a tangent now. The point of that long intro was to tell you about the Eye of the Jailer. Now we'll be talking about what that thing actually is. So if you watched BlizzcOnline earlier this year, or if you've been at least keeping up with the news, you would know that in patch 9.1 we are getting a raid called Sanctum of Domination. We will finally get to fight Sylvanas Windrunner. With the raid announcement, they also told us about a few bosses we will be seeing in the raid, such as Kel'Thuzad, the thing that chases you around Torghast called Taragru, Sylvanas Windrunner, but also the true Eye of the Jailer. We will be fighting his eye as a raid boss. That ought to be interesting. This tells us that the eye is very much a living thing. But where did the jailer find this eye? Well, we will just have to take a trip back all the way back to 2016. Let me paint you a picture. World of Warcraft Legion just came out. Ah, it was so lovely. Artifact weapons, broken isles, the best dungeons the game ever had, including a place called Halls of Valor. Now if you didn't play World of Warcraft at the time, Halls of Valor is very easy to imagine. Imagine Spires of Ascension and just make it golden instead of bright blue, and that's it. Halls of Valor also served as the class order hall for warrior players. If you played a warrior, you probably know about the lore of this place, if you paid attention at least, but if you didn't pay attention or if you didn't play a warrior, let me clue you in a little bit. Once upon a time, in the distant north, at the very north of the north, in Storm Peaks, there was, and still is, a place called Ulduar. All the Titan Keepers, the beings that the Titans left over to watch over Azeroth when they left, were hanging out here, including a dude named Odyn. Now Odyn was a badass. He did some good stuff, like defeating Ragnaros with his BFF tier. Now at this time, the Halls of Valor were actually a part of Ulduar, so they were actually inside, they were not in the sky like they are today. But soon enough though, Odyn would get really pissed off. These 5 proto-drakes beat a big-ass dragon called Galakrond, and the Titan Keepers wanted to ask the Pantheon to bless these 5 dragons and grant them sick new powers. Odyn was totally against it though, but they did it anyway, and these 5 dragons would go on to become the dragon aspects. Odyn, being the pissed giant with a fiery beard that he was, decided he was gonna move out.
Screw you guys, I'm going home. But Carmen, we're trying to... screw you guys, home.
And you know, when you move out you just take your stuff, leave and all that. Well, that's not how Odyn did it. Odyn actually pulled the whole Halls of Valor up from Ulduar and into the sky. So that's like your roommate moving out and taking his bedroom. The whole thing. Walls, floors and all. Now Odyn believed that the dragons were not fit to protect Azeroth. He wanted to do it himself with his greatest Rykul warriors. The problem was, the Halls of Valor were empty at this time. According to the legend of Odyn, Odyn exclaimed, "These halls shall be the final resting place of my finest warriors. I must see the world of death, for only then can I raise the spirits of the fiercest, bravest Rykul to their proper place in the heavens. They shall be called Valajar, and they shall honor these halls for eons to come." Odyn had with himself a great Titan-forged sorceress called Helya. Together they did a ritual that would open a way to sea to the Shadowlands. Now Helya warned Odyn that this was a really bad idea. But Odyn did it anyway, So they did the ritual. A wraith answered and asked Odin what he would be willing to give in return to see to the Shadowlands. Well, Odin gave him his eye. The wraith accepted the trade, and Odin gazed into the Shadowlands. Here he saw the great Kyrian, on who he would base his Valkyr. The first of these was Helia, but she didn't really want to become one, so she was really pissed. She cursed Odin and forever trapped him inside the halls of Valor. Now what Odin didn't know is that Helia was right. He was screwing around with some pretty dangerous things. The wraith Odin saw was none other than
Who's that Pokemon? It's
Mueh'zala. Mueh'zala even tells us this in the other side dungeon. If you played Shadowlands any, you know that this dude is bad news. He works directly for the Jailer, and I think you can understand where I'm heading with this, right? The eye of the Jailer must be Odin's eye. We have even been told by Blizzard that the boss encounter is tied to Odin losing his eye. So it's either his actual eye or it's something that the Jailer empowered with the actual eye. Well, we understand why Odin wanted to trade. He wanted to be able to peer into the Shadowlands. But why would the Jailer need a Titan Keeper's eye? The Jailer has been described by the devs as being something along the lines of Titan++. If he is really all that powerful, why does he need the eye of Odin? Where there could be a few possibilities, but for this we really need to get our tinfoil hats on. The Jailer seems very interested in Azeroth's world soul. He wants to devour it. So what if, by allowing Odin to peer into the Shadowlands, Odin inadvertently allowed the Jailer to peer into Azeroth? This would make Odin the only way the Jailer could look into Azeroth before allying himself with Sylvanas. That would be a long time ago. The dragon aspects became the dragon aspects long before War of the Ancients, and even War of the Ancients was 10,000 years ago from today, so a lot of time for the Jailer to scope out what's what around Azeroth. This plan might have backfired though, as Helia eventually locked Odin to the Halls of Valor. Now why would Helia, a servant of the Jailer, trap Odin in the Halls of Valor so he cannot see around Azeroth? Well, probably at that time she wasn't a servant of the Jailer like she is today. We don't know when exactly she became the servant of the Jailer. That could have been somewhere after Legion, after she was defeated in Helheim. What's he looking for though could be hinted in a whisper of Il'gynoth.
The Lord of Ravens will turn the key.
This seems like it could refer to Odin. Odin is always seen hanging out with ravens, and even our Odin in real life mythology is always hanging out with ravens indeed. As for what key, well, we know that the Jailer is missing 3 keys. He picked up one from Kirestia during 9.1 trailer cutscene. The Jailer is apparently after 5 keys. That would mean that he has 2 right now. Which one is the second? Could the Eye of Odin somehow be a key? Or could Odin be hiding a key somewhere, which would then be the reason the Jailer wants to gaze into Azeroth, to find out where it is? Maybe, maybe not. Note that the whisper only says that he will turn the key, not that he has the key. The thing with all of this is, why would there be a key to the Shadowlands in Azeroth, a planet on mortal plane? Well, I don't know, but I have some slight idea. I don't think it's actually on Azeroth, and now I know all of this is pretty out there, okay, but we're just having fun and theorizing it. Okay, take a look at the cosmology chart, right there in the center of it. Reality. And what's that around reality? Shadowlands and the Emerald Dream. This map would make them polar opposites, right? Now that wouldn't make much sense though, because the Emerald Dream seems to be exclusive to Azeroth, while the Shadowlands isn't. There's a way to fix this though. It has been said that Freya didn't actually make the Emerald Dream from scratch, but that she made it from something already existing. So that other thing, the polar opposite of Shadowlands, is what the Emerald Dream was made of, or probably the Emerald Dream is just a part of it, a realm inside these other not so shadowy lands. There is a plane for all 6 cosmological powers, like there is Shadowlands for death. So for life, these not so shadowy lands, or however you want to call them, would be where the Emerald Dream actually is, or what the Emerald Dream was made of. Perhaps one of the denizens of this place, these not so shadowy lands, has a key to releasing the Jailer. Putting a key far away from the Shadowlands would be one way of keeping him in check. Now who would be a good candidate for this? Maybe Ionar the Lifebinder. She was hiding away on Elunaria, and that place does look like Emerald Dream a bit. Could Elunaria be a part of that polar opposite plane of existence? And how does Elune fit into all of this? After all, Elunaria is very similar to Elune, and I don't think that's a coincidence. Elune is seemingly the sister of the Winter Queen, but seems to be more tied to the reality plane. I say this because of the pillars of creation. 5 pillars. 4 of them are named after the Titans, but one of them is named after Elune. Does this make her a Titan? Probably not. We don't even know what Elune actually is, but she must be at the level of the Titans. If Elune is a sister to the Winter Queen, that would make her as powerful as Titans at least. I wouldn't necessarily say she is a Titan, but I would say that she is their ally, or probably a Titan-like creature that hangs around the plane opposite of the Shadowlands, maybe a part of the Pantheon of Life, if the one in the Shadowlands is named the Pantheon of Death. The sister of the Winter Queen could also be Ionar, but I think it's more likely that it's Elune, because Elune is probably a part of this life pantheon. Now we went on a tangent, but I will make this a full circle. The reason the Jailer wants to peer into Azeroth is because of the Night Elves, beings closely tied with Elune and the Emerald Dream. Probably because Elune or Ionar has a key that the Jailer will need. I know this one is pretty out there, but if you wear your tinfoil hats right, it will start to make sense. The whispers say Odyn will turn this key, so I imagine that he is in some way corrupted by the Jailer already, or that he will be instrumental in obtaining the key somehow. Or not, we'll probably just kill him, get some dope loot, you never know. We'll just have to wait and see it all in the Sanctum of Domination, whenever 9.1 finally drops. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.